first match with a very authoritative 2:38.
Very authoritative. We'll get us started here in the second match against Dennis Polley.
Oh, my. Oh, my. Look at him. Yes, of course. Take a look at this, if you would. Solid 9? Yeah, for a few seconds. Ball just drives right past the 9. It should take it out, but... Oh, but... wait a minute. Wait a minute. Get out of here. Dennis Polley last week at the qualifier, Jen, you alluded to the fact that I just missed the roll-off. This man took me downtown, and he was throwing the ball just incredibly well. I thought he was going to shoot 300 at the one game. He does a lot of things right. He gets to the line, he stays low, gets through the ball with a lot of power. And that should be encouragement to all you people out there that think you can't do it. If you've got a sound game and you've worked on it and you've put in your time on the practice pairs, yeah, it can happen. Come on out to the qualifiers and see if you can do it.
Dennis already has his 6-year-old son, Sean, bowling.
Good for him.
All right, there you go. That's how.
If he bowls like that, it won't be too shabby.
That's how you log in those big numbers. Brian Himmler logs in a lot of big numbers consistently. Youth will be served.
It was in match number 1. Starting out pretty good in match number 2. 2 strikes in a row for Brian Himmler.
Mr. Excitement. He just goes, just another day at work, George. Just go up and throw the ball, knock 10 down, walk back.
There's still openings available at Green Hills Lanes today for qualifying. Of course, they have a 1:33 and 4:30 shift. You can still catch.
Himmler in the 3rd.
Ooh. Ooh.
Turkey time for Brian Himmler.
Ball reaction very similar to that of our champion, Glenn Meese. Brian Himmler just absolutely shows us what the powerful ball can do. Head pin to the left. There you go. Come across. 10 pin. You were going out of here anyway.
Little light again.
Yep. Same as he was in frame number 1 on that lane. A little bit too far outside.
Exactly. Here's he peeking around the telescore there. He just ducked back in. Irv Hoinke joins us in his green coat a week late. Should have been last week, Irv. The 2-8, gotta hurry. Okay, just brings it back.
So Brian Himmler with the early lead over Dennis Polley, but plenty of paper to go.
Dennis mentioned that on dry lanes he uses a 4-step approach, and on oily lanes he uses a 3-step approach. Now that's different.
That is very different. We're not going to really endorse that for you guys at home to try because it's pretty complicated. But Dennis Polley's approach is not complicated. His release is not complicated. And this ball, not a lot to say about perfection. 10 in the pit. Every pin doing its job. Dennis Polley does not want to roll over and play dead to Brian Himmler. But Brian is completely encapsulated in his own game, I guarantee you.
Oh, is he ever.
Scoreboard's going to show us one thing, and that's Brian Himmler with a hefty lead. 30 pins in the 4th frame. He is in the lead so far. And when you give a man like Brian Himmler a 30-pin advantage and you got half the score sheet left, you got your work cut out for you. Do we
5 in a row.
Do we dare mention the $15,000?
We do.
Stay tuned, and we'll talk about it when we come back after this important commercial message.
Lies one of the West's favorite entertainment centers, Western Bowl, where in January the Hoinke Classic began another year of competitive tournament bowling. Since 1975, over $1 million in prize money has been awarded each year to men and women bowlers. Additional early bird prizes are paid to winners during the first 6 weeks of the Honkey Classic, the world's largest handicap tournament. Share in the excitement. Western Bowl on Glenway Avenue, Western Hills.
There's St. Patrick's Day savings all week long at all.
Maximum pin action. This is his 5th strike in a row. A perfect game in progress as we join the 10-pin, leaving us.
And he's got that messenger pin on almost every shot, so if anything's left, it sure won't be after it hits it.
Well, this guy isn't giving up.
No, Dennis knows very well that if he stays close, I mean, 30 pins sounds like a lot, but it's actually you throwing continual strikes, your opponent making one mistake, and you're right back in the ball game. The only thing he can do is stay close and keep throwing the ball in the pocket. Look out. Look out.
He had tossed a couple of strikes previously on that lane, but comes in a little too high and hard.
You're right, George, on his favorite lane. And unfortunately, we've been through this 100 times, Jen, where you're in a tournament and you're hitting one and losing the other, hitting one. Then you finally hit the lane you've been having trouble with, and you lose your best lane.
I think that's what keeps us coming back to this game.
Is that it?
I think that's it.
I'm glad you clarified that for me. I've been doing this now for 25 years. I've been wondering why. Because it's a great game. You get to meet a lot of great people. And this guy throws a great ball. My goodness. Oh, no. What a way to lose a $15,000 check if that proves to be the last time he doesn't strike with a solid 9.
Had 5 in a row up to that point. Covers the spare.
Very well-schooled spare shooter, Brian Himmler.
30-pin lead at this point.
Today we saw Sarge Burton, John Burton, win the Golden Ball contest, and if you'd like to participate in that, you'll have to come out, and we do tape early in the morning at 8 a.m., and that will be at Kingpin Lanes on April the 1st.
We do? That early?
We do.
No wonder I'm tired sometimes.
Now, hear that.
3, 6, 9, 10. A difficult spare and a completely errant shot for a player like Brian Himmler. A mental meltdown, we call it. Leaving a solid 9 there in the 6th frame, and he cuts the ball short, drives right straight through the head pin. Not an easy spare, Jen.
No, it isn't. The sleeper makes that what we call the sleeper, the pin behind, which in this case would be the 9-pin. Makes it very difficult.
Oop. Oh, there you go. That's how
the
you
way you do it. So Brian Himmler holds the spare here in the 7th frame.
The count will hurt him, but you still see him 30 pins in the lead. But Mr. Polley could cut it to 20 with a strike right here. Look out, look out. 6-10, cutting straight through the heart. Lucky to break down the split. Dennis needs to get a little lined up and apply a little bit more pressure to Brian, or else he's going to run away and hide.
You know, Partridge Meats is one of our fine sponsors for this show. And without our sponsors, we couldn't do it. I was at the store this week, and they have a free bowling offer. And what it is, you buy 2 games, and you get 1 free, and it's good for up to 4 people.
Hot dog, it's Partridge. I don't know, just something
It's a pretty good deal.
Dancing hot dogs. You know,
It's great.
It's no longer meat month like it was in February, but you can still pick up plenty of fine Partridge products.
I'm going to pick some up on the way home because I know the wife, she's not feeling real good today. We're going to take it easy. I'm going to crank up that old grill out back and just fry a couple of them babies up, see what happens, huh?
So you go all out. You're not like me and just fire up the microwave, huh?
No, we don't nuke.
That's my,
we don't nuke hot dogs.
That's my fine gourmet cooking.
Yeah, I've heard about your recipes before, George. 2-4-5 brings it back easily. Dennis, your fate is not in your hands anymore. Brian Himmler can seal it with a strike in the 8th and 9th frame, and this party will be over. Lane number 10. Hasn't had a lot of trouble with it so far. Look
He has
out.
big trouble with it now.
Don't go away, guys. The bad count, a 5 count, leaving the big 5. Take a look at it here. Cuts the ball short and gets it in. Look out. No way that ball's going to hold right straight through the heart. Leaves the 4-7, 6, 9, 10. Now, if you want to make it, you try to shoot for the 4-7. If you want to take the pin count, like Brian's doing, or should have done, you go for the right-hand side. Now, this changes the complexion of the whole match. With a strike in the 9th frame, Dennis can register 164, and that would only put him 12 pins behind. There you look at it. Dennis says, what? Who, me? What? I got a second chance here?
He finds himself right back in it.
Brian can still control his own fate, though. If he strikes out, he'll still win this match, but it's got to start now. It's not over yet. It is not over yet.
Hangs the 7 pin here in the 9th frame, and it could get interesting with a strike by Dennis Polley in the 9th. '16-year-old Brian Himmler seems to take a lot of rotation off the ball when he shoots a spare.
It's a good point, George. It's an excellent point. The power bowlers will not utilize that power on their spares because it actually makes the spares more difficult. Accuracy is the key on spares. Power is the key to pin action on your first ball. Dennis needs a strike here to have any chance of winning.
He is just continually crossing over now.
Well, the difference in the 2 balls is one thing. The surfaces, we'll go into it in a minute here. Well, let's take a look at Dennis's release. He's well underneath the ball. Boom, there you go. It's a good release, a very good release. But the ball is taking off a little too sharply. He covers the 310 nicely, though.
So he trails by 14 pins as we enter the 10th frame.
His potential 212, and Brian right now is going at a 226 pace. So he needs some help out of Brian, but it's very easy to understand. He cannot win the game if he doesn't strike on this ball.
Oh, no.
Left it outside. Well, we're trying to figure out here where this match stands.
Well, Dennis with a spare and a strike could register 199. Brian at that point would just merely have to have a reasonable count in the 10th frame and not even have to mark. But that seals the fate.
That pretty much settles it, yep.
Brian Himmler is going to go on to match number 3 for the most eagerly awaited match of the year so far. Brian Himmler, this man, is going to go on to meet Glenn Meese, our 4-time champion.
And stay tuned, because you're going to see a lot of grunting and groaning and hand smacking, guaranteed.
Animation, you want it? We're going to have it. Glenn knows that this was the match that he would probably be faced with. So it's not like he's unprepared for this, George. Not that the other guys didn't have a chance. I don't want to allude to that at all. But Glenn Meese has bowled Brian Himmler in the past, many times in the junior program, never on the King of Bowling. And now we get to see the match that everyone's waited for. Brian Himmler against our 4-time champion, Glenn Meese. 216 earns him the right to go on to our last game today, the championship match. Get some cold ones, ice them up, and come on back real quick.